Get Roxy to get her video. That's not you. That's for her. Does it need to see me? Okay, so you need to make sure your sound is off. Okay, you all set? We're good. My sound, everything's good. Okay, good. Everyone, and I just ask you please bear with me. It's been a while since I've used WebEx, so I don't know how smoothly it's going to go for me. But Bernard, can you reduce the subtitles or remove them maybe? Sorry, Mike.
Are we using WebEx because is it still streaming on YouTube?
It's both, right? It's just because of the room. Yes, it's both. And I think I'm going to be sharing on that, so it's apparent on the screen what documents we're going to. Good morning, everyone. This is our July 17th, 2023 session. I'm going to go through the status update as we normally do. This is session 11, and we have 4 sessions scheduled after this throughout the month of August. The upcoming dates. The proposals received from the Austin EMS Association, these haven't changed. We've been discussing all of these. It's Article 5, 8, 9, 10, 11, 14, 15, 18, 19, and 23. Same thing for the city. These are the proposals and responses. It's not showing. It says I'm sharing the screen.
It's on the screen. It's on YouTube.
It is on, it's just not there. Do you mind backing up to our dates for negotiations? I apologize. So on the sessions currently, we are still posted for a meeting on the 21st. We're talking today about potentially just moving that to a subcommittee, but that one's supposed to be public, so public can expect that probably won't be a public meeting. We'll do a subcommittee, but we'll finalize that today and then post. That's for July 21st. Yes, Friday. This Friday. So I just want to make that clear for any. So these are the public meetings that we expect, that the one that's posted will be a working session, and we'll be doing some work on that bit in the subcommittee. Okay, we've already gone through the proposals received from the Austin EMS Association. These are the proposals and responses from the city on Articles 5, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 18, and 19. Today, this is what the city
has prepared to present. The city has a counter proposal on Article 18, significant schedule changes. We have also prepared the tentative agreements on the following articles that have been discussed and agreed upon between the Boston EMS Association and the City of Boston. And that's Article 5, community use checkoff, Article 11, shared communications between the city and association, Article 14, drug testing, Article 15, protect the rights of medics, and Article 19, agreement, grievance procedure. Today, I think we're the only ones that have stuff to present and discuss. We're not expecting anything from the union unless there's a counter proposal or an additional tentative agreement that we can discuss once we work through the day. And these are the articles that are presently in subcommittee. They are being discussed. Article 12, promotions, Article 13, the hiring process, Article 6, wages and benefits, Article 7, overtime, on-call and callback. Article 8, special leave, Article 9, holidays, vacation and sick leave, and Article 10, association business leave, do have some monetary and economic implications. So that they are also going to be discussed in conjunction with all of the other articles in the wage and benefits subcommittee. These are the articles actively being discussed again, Article 8, 9, 10, 18, and 23. And those that have the asterisks are the articles that have the monetary implications, which may be placed in the subcommittee.
Actually, quite frankly, 23 is in that realm as well. You are the term of the agreement. So.
Right, that goes directly with the wage discussion. So for the tentative agreements, and these are the ones we're proposing today, we have Article 5, 11, 14, 15, and 19. And then the presumptive tentative agreements, which are the articles where both sides, the city as well as the Austin EMS Association, agree that there are no major changes or any changes, is Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 16, 17, 20, 21, 22, 24, and 25. And City of Austin's committed to working towards an agreement with the Austin EMS Association, and we've done a lot of work so far, and hopefully we can finalize the tentative agreements today, which will get us closer to the core issues that we need to continue discussing. Okay. So the first article that we have today. Correct, counter proposal will be, we're looking at Article 18, the city's counter proposal for today. Anybody see that? So on Article 18, we have the significant schedule changes. What our counter proposal is a reiteration of our last proposal with regard to the
Section 5.
oh, that's right here, Section 5, the scheduling rules. I'll bring up the last time the union had their the union had its counter proposal. The discussion was here with regard to, the scheduling report and the information, I guess, that the union was seeking in those scheduling reports. And you had proposed an appendix that had certain elements to it. We have stated before that we believe that, those details in the scheduling report are inherent management rights of the chief to be able to operate, the department as he has to do on a day-to-day basis. And that information on that report may change. We don't want to tie the chief's hands to have to come back and negotiate something that needs to be in or out of the report, because that is his inherent management right, and it could, curtail his ability to efficiently and properly operate the department. So what we have done, is we've stayed with the last proposal. This is a reiteration of our last proposal in that language, because we don't believe that those details are part or belong in the contract. But what the city is willing to do is to show its commitment and ask for a show of faith from the union onto what that report is. And so what the city is willing to do is put in the language that the department will post a scheduling report daily on the internal EMS department website. And what Chief Gartner has actually created a sample, and basically what the street work is gonna be for what this type of report is gonna look like. And I will show you what that example will look like. And I'm just gonna go into the initial part of this, and I'll let Chief Gardner talk a little bit more about what this scheduling report will be. But it will be available on the SharePoint page, which is the internal website that everybody has access to. And they have developed, it will be in the EMS operations support. And the example of the items that will be included, we've hit all of the items that you have outlined in Appendix B, your proposed Appendix B. One of them being the daily operational check-ins that would show the available assets, the assets out of service, and the in-service assets.
Let's just let you take it from
Okay.
here so that she can.
And we'll go from there. Chief, just tell me where to scroll and.
Well, first of all, saying that I did this is very generous. This is, our internal IT folks and operations have been working on this. So this is basically, just what they're working towards is having it auto-populated. So there's some things that have to be worked on internally to get that fully implemented. But in the interim, as we continue to work through this, we should be able to update it, also manually. And you can scroll down a little bit. This has the elements that we've discussed, about the available assets that are on duty, how many units are out of service versus how many are in service. So that seems like some duplication, but there are times when we may take a medic unit out of service, but we have an aid unit in service. So there's kind of a swap in and out for some of those things. So it's a way for us to keep track of those things as well. Scroll down a little bit more. This also allows us to keep track of unscheduled leave versus scheduled leave, and then a bucket called other leave. And we're kind of combining several of those because we don't want really a lot of identifying information that, because it would include OJI, FEMLA, military leave, ADL, a number of other leaves that are used less frequently than scheduled or unscheduled, which is basically vacation or sick time. So we kind of put those together as well. This is also the callback work on the number of staff, how many were available, the number that have been used, and then just another out of service units in there. Okay. The different options that we might have in that, but that's just a look at an example of what we're working towards to have available on SharePoint on a daily basis.
And so if this changes every day, will we be able to like compare if medics want to see like, are we using more callback work? Is there more available? Will they be able to see through the different days?
This would be just on a daily report. Now, there are things that we look at over time, that it would not be posted in the same areas as this is just the daily.
So there won't be like, 'cause like, for example, when during COVID, y'all sent out a daily report, but then it's archived in our emails, so we can kind of see, you know, any changes in the number of, our medic.
I don't know if it has that capability to
Like
like
as
go
an archive.
back to the archive, but I can find that out.
Can you forward this example to us? It is a little difficult to read.
And also the proposed account.
Of course, when we're done here, we're all the, this is for the keys. Review this example.
Can you go back to the actual contract?
Section.
Scroll down. Okay. I, for some reason, I thought that there was more in the first sentence, but okay. It's just-
Yes, we'll send it again, but what you'll see is it is what we had presented the last time. It's just staying with them, but with the example that we see that you can use as bargaining history. We just don't want it actually in the contract language itself. But we will resend it. Just your dates and times.
More questions on the Article 18?
No, but then Chief Carter will find out if we can see the historical, like, the previous days or not.
So the next area of items that I have are the proposed tentative agreements. And we'll start with Article 5. And the way that we have prepared these tentative agreements are to show in green the language agreed to, and if there's deletion of language, that will also show in green with a line through it to show the agreement of the deletion of the original contract language. So we do have all of the historical and the legislative history as to how these proposals progress. But for purposes of the tentative agreement to see exactly what is being changed and what we've agreed to, it's all going to be green. Okay, and if there's any questions about that, don't hesitate to ask. So on the first item on Article 5, union dues checkoff, the agreed change is to add on Section 1A that a digital form supplied by the city can be used. The last sentence addresses the new digital form, and it says we've agreed that employees will elect to utilize a digital form option to send their signed digital form to the payroll division of the financial services department from their city email account. And that's for security reasons, and we've all agreed to that. The last change on this is the addition of an additional sentence in Section 3 indemnification. And that last sentence added to the, which is new contract language will say indemnification shall not apply to liability arising from offenses listed under Texas Penal Code 3102 unless committed by a representative of the association in relation to this article. And that's with regard to the dues and other payroll deductions. Any questions on that?
We expect that you will take this kind of fine tune comb it before, but we just wanted to go through it.
I'll find all the bills and turn them in channels.
And And the intent of this tentative agreement is to just show what will be changed from the original contract language. So I've done my, my comparison, but we welcome you to do the same because there's always a human element to this.
I honestly, Selena and I found one, what, a month ago from the last time. It happens all the time, so please.
Yeah,
take time.
we invite that kind of cross check. Next tentative agreement is. So this is a tentative agreement, the same kind of formatting with the green lettering. On Article 11, shared communications between the city and the association. The first change is on Section 3, shared communication systems. We're adding a sentence to Section 3A to state the department shall provide the association access to space on its bulletin boards in each work site or digital display if provided. And then there's an addition to the original contract. We're adding Section 8 entitled the Department Strategic Plan. And that new language states the department will make the most current department strategic plan available to the association on an internal website by December 31st, 2023. If such a plan exists at that time or within 30 days of the creation or official update of such plan. This section shall not infringe upon any management rights as to whether, how, or when such a plan may be created, implemented, updated, or rescinded. Those are the only changes that I have noted that we've agreed on article. Again, please cross-reference just to make sure that it's correct. The next one is Article 14.
So Article 14 is the one that the other day we had a tentative agreement subject to a couple of tweaks. So between that time, we've got together and agreed across the table on the minor tweaks, but we wanted to also show them publicly so that everyone can see them as well.
Okay. Here's the proposed tentative agreement with the same formatting, Article 14, drug testing. Section 1 on the commitment to eliminating drug and alcohol impairment in the workplace, we're adding an additional paragraph that states pursuant to the mutual commitment to a healthy and drug and alcohol-free workplace and an unimpaired workforce, a positive drug test shall only be prima facie evidence of violation of departmental policy and should not be the sole basis for disciplinary action. Section 2, we're adding a sentence to the end of Section 2A on types of drug testing that states any such policy shall include training on applications of standards thereunder. And this is referencing to the reasonable suspicion type of drug testing under this article.
I think that was the tweak, wasn't it? The audit.
I think the tweak was about if the drugs that we carry in the ambulance become testable for saliva, that you will switch that.
Oh,
Or
okay.
just,
Okay.
Section 3A, protocol for drug testing notes and changes made to have the contract language read that the terms of illegal drugs and controlled substances refer to the drugs or classes of drugs listed in 49 CFR section 40.85 rather than 87 at the time of the test, and medications that are approved for use in patient care by the clinical operating guidelines is adopted by the department without incorporating the DOT, Department of Transportation limitations on testing contained in 49 CFR section 40.85. Then on section B, we've added a couple of numbers under there. One being, new language for drug log discrepancy relating to a drug which is not detected by the saliva collection and testing process and used by the city. The compulsory production and submission of urine samples by uniform staff member for chemical analysis to detect the presence of a specified controlled substance for which the drug log discrepancy exists. Direct observation will not be part of the urine collection process unless lab personnel have reason to suspect the initial specimen was adulterated. This testing process shall default to saliva collection and sampling if and when the city begins utilizing such a test that does detect the specified controlled substance for which the drug log discrepancy exists. Is that the tweet you're talking about? We added a number 3 for alcohol. Breath sampling will continue to be used by the department to detect the presence of alcohol. On section C, we made the same kind of changes that were made in section A to refer to drugs or classes of drugs listed in 49 CFR section 40.85 rather than 87. And we added the same language with regard to without incorporating the Department of Transportation limitations on testing contained in 49 CFR section 40.85. Section 4A, we changed a will to a shall. And I believe those are all of the changes that we have discussed and agreed upon for Article 14 drug tests. The next tentative agreement is the Article 15. Same formatting again with the green lettering. Article 15, the protected rights of uniform staff. The only changes to this article are on section 9 regarding the disciplinary matrix committee. Since it's already been established, we have changed that language to reflect such. We are deleting this first part is a deletion of original contract language to update the current disciplinary matrix committee. And it states that the new language shall state, there shall be a disciplinary matrix committee for the purposes of making recommendations to the chief on a disciplinary matrix to standardize the imposition of disciplinary penalty ranges for the most common disciplinary offenses. The committee shall consist of 6 members, 3 appointed by the chief and 3 appointed by the association president. Section B changes a will to a shall, and the committee shall make putting in the word initial, recommendations to the chief for such disciplinary matrix as soon as practicable after its. And then we make changes also to state the chief is to adopt and implement the disciplinary matrix as soon as practicable after receipt of recommendations from the committee. We've added a new section D. The committee shall review the disciplinary matrix annually and make further recommendations if appropriate. The chief shall be under no obligation to make changes in accordance with such recommendations. The contents of the disciplinary matrix remain at the sole discretion of the chief. The new E was already current contract language, and we also added an F to state nothing in this section shall impair or infringe upon the inherent management rights as reflected in Article 20 of this. Those are all the agreed upon changes on Article. Last tentative agreement that we have prepared to propose today is Article 19. This is a tentative agreement for Article 19, the grievance procedure. The first change is kind of just a grammatical matter. It's resolving disputes, and it will attempt to ensure that the disputes are identified. We added this language to section 3 on timelines. In the event the association provides intent to file a timely grievance and the city requests time to resolve the issue outside the formal grievance process, the parties may enter into a tolling agreement regarding deadlines that may be missed by the association pursuant to such request that would otherwise render the grievance resolved and dismissed. On step 2, we've added the following language to section B. Will now state a grievance submitted in substantial compliance with this section shall not be denied on the basis of form within 15 business days after receipt of the step 2 grievance. The chief shall submit a written response to the association grievance committee addressing the issues forming the subject of the grievance. If an informal agreement or resolution is reached, the chief of the association or the designee shall indicate the disposition of the grievance in writing within 15 days of receipt and the chief's initial response. Those are all the agreed upon changes for the tentative agreement on Article 19 and grievance procedure. Are there any questions on any of the tentative agreements? That's what we have prepared and ready to present today. Once we adjourn from this public session, I'll email you all of that stuff, including the counter proposal for 18, the 5 tentative agreements, and the example that goes along with Article 18.
I'm presuming you guys are gonna wanna look at the tentative agreements and then let us know whether you're ready or whether you need to wait till the next session to take some time with them, and whether or not you'll have a response to 18. We can come back, meet in a public session. I think our intent for the public's purposes is to have subcommittee meetings during the afternoon on finances. But we can come back and meet whenever you're ready, so just text us.
I think we should be able to make.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
Okay, so I will tell you, we remain having technical difficulties with the printing. I am so sorry about that. So we will, I mean, we have TAs on them, we will just have to sign them the next time. Okay, my apologies on that.
Can we just talk about 18 since we're here?
Absolutely.
So we sent it over a counter and it's basically yours except for adding some wills to shells.
Dimensions.
You changed those in 18.
And 18.
Can we put it up on the screen? Yeah.
What we just-
see those two wills to shalls.
Oh, no, it's no problem.
All of that should be green.
So this first sentence is the agreeable part.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so, go to that last. Okay.
So it's your language just with a shall instead of the will. And then,
Yeah, I will tell you, I don't have a huge problem with the changes to shall. But typically where we put shall is something that you intend to actually grieve if we haven't done it versus we will do more than our best efforts, because that's not what it says. We will do it. But the shall is for like an actual, like, serious problem. The city shall do this, the union shall do that. And these are kind of, but on these changes, I don't mind them, but it's kind of unnecessary.
Okay. Okay.
if y'all want to,
And if any of these pose you an issue where, I mean, for my likes, will tends to not be contractual language generally for me, because if you're going to say you will do something, or you shall do something, for me, while it seems to have the same effect if we're trying to turn it into contract language, that we shall be designated, as opposed to will be designated.
And I understand where you're coming from. All of our attorneys on this side have discussed it and not had a problem with an arbitrator ever with the word will. I
I get that.
understand from a law school perspective, you may wanna dot your i's and cross your t's, but on little things like this, it's a bit.
I understand that. You know, if there are certain instances where that, you know, gives you pause, please let us know if that's
We'll look at it.
because you'd like more leeway on something, then indicate that is what your reason is.
Yeah, we'll take a look at it, and this one just caught my eye particularly, I'm gonna have that in the back of my head. But it's not that we don't intend to have uniform staff designating and supervising
Or post.
and overseeing the creation of the schedules.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's the intent there.
And if you know, that's why I guess if the intent is that, then should not. Having that as a stronger word, like, I don't see a reason for the issue. But if there is, you know,
Yeah, we'll go through it.
go through it and tell me.
Yeah, we will.
and, as to the content, we received the email that had the PDF showing the different screenshots, and something caught our eye about, there's a button that says analytics, and so then we actually went to go look for it, and I think, the department is tinkering around with some stuff online, and so we were able to find it, we did see the historical information, and y'all confirmed that it isn't, so, that's why we sent over this.
Okay, sounds good. Presuming that all the language is okay, we'll put it in with the rest of it and color it the right colors, set it up for signature next time. Thanks. I believe that's the only thing we have for open session prior to, okay, so we will go ahead and close our open session and just take a couple of minutes to shut down all the here, and then we can just do our subcommittee here.
I think we've already sent over all the final 5 Ts we discussed this morning. I'll finalize, we'll get with our team, and if we can finalize the TA on 18, email it to you and get that executed once it's all agreed.
And for the public, we are canceling the public meeting for Friday, and we're gonna set up at least one subcommittee, if not two. So, sounds good. Okay, should be done.